Today's guest is a connector of all things culture. He has one of the most fascinating stories within the scene, from whether it be finding and managing your favourite artists to DJing at Australia's biggest festivals or sporting events. He is a pioneer and his input is worth its weight in gold. Today's guest is Director Zig, and I'm honoured to have him on the podcast. We'll just get straight into it. DJ Moey Ziggy. I didn't know about this, bro. I didn't know about this at all. I messaged B-Wise last night. I thought he might have had a few drinks. So I was waiting for a reply this morning. I said, I've got Zig coming on the podcast. What's the download? Like, what's something that I'm 24, right? So a bit younger. I was like, what's something, I wouldn't know about Zig? And he just sends me this YouTube link off the bat straight away. And it's the, is it Sexy Bitch, the remix, the Lebo Bankstown remix?
Yeah.
And then I saw as well the Zonto mix as well on there that had like a fair few views.
Afro Beats thing, 2012. Yeah.
Bro, back in the day, that thing went viral and it's still getting comments now, which is crazy. It's. I think it was like 13 or 14 years old when I looked at it.
Yeah.
How does a young Ziggy figure that out and go, yeah, that's the move I'm going to make? Or was it just completely I'm just going to take the piss and it just hit gold?
It's not even like, nothing was really planned, to be honest. It's just like, it's based on my experience in the area, like growing up in Bankstown. And literally, like, this song came out, like, Akon, like, people in the area, they loved Akon, like, to the next level, you know what I mean? Like, not as much as they love Tupac, but, yeah, there's, like, there was Tupac and there's Akon. Like, that's how much these guys love the guy. And it's like, this song just dropped, Sexy Bitch, and it's been out maybe, like, 2-3 weeks, and it's just going crazy. Like, you can't go anywhere and not hear it in that area anyway. So I'm coming back from home from school, and I'm just sitting waiting for the bus, and, like cars are driving past playing the song, and I'm counting them, and I'm like, I want to count to 15 before like I get on my bus. And I was counting them, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it got up to 14, and then my bus came. So I was like feeling cut. I was like, damn, I really wanted it to be 15. I don't know, it was just a bored game. I was waiting for my bus, so I get on the bus, and then the Lebo in the back, he played it off his phone, and I'm like, bro, that's number 15. So that's the story I tell at the start of the song. Is literally why I'll go to my cousin's house. I'm like, yo, let's make a remix to this song, because the Lebos in the area, they love this song, bro. We might as well, you know what I mean? So that's literally just how it came about. And then he helped me write it. It was him and Faiyaz that were both there. It's just funny, like we were just having fun, bro. Like, especially I just remember them like on the "Walk it Allah, let's go Oscar," like just like yelling it. Like, it's just like we're just having fun, because we all grew up in Bankstown. Yeah. These guys moved to Liverpool, but we all grew up in Bankstown. It's just like all of our boys, that's how they are and stuff. And, that's kind of how it flowed. And then the second verse, the next day I came back and I finished the song. I just pressed record and I just freestyled some stuff. And then that was it, man. It was ready to go, and just shop it out.
How big did it go at the time? Because now it sits like a good amount. I think it was like 3/4 mil.
Yeah.
Or in and around that area. At the time, also, virality back then so different. Like 10,000 views back then, I'd say is like, I don't know, 500K on TikTok now.
Yeah.
On YouTube back then. How well did it go in, say, like the first month?
I mean, basically when I made it after that second night, with like my cousin, he was sleeping or something. Like, I woke up, I'm like, I just finished the freestyle. He's like, oh yeah, this is hectic. He kind of mixed it quickly. He's like, cuz we got to go to Nick's house. I'm like, all right, who's Nick? I mean, I knew who Nick was. I'm like, but why, But he's like, we got to go there. We go there, and he's got his mate there, Michael. And this guy's like, yo, we play it for him, and he's tripping out. He's like, oh, bro, what is this? Cuz, like, so we're not thinking anything of it like that. Or me, personally, I'm not thinking anything of it. But obviously, my cousin was like, we got to take it to this guy and show him. And I think this is even what I play on now, because in the music business, it's always, I tell the people around me, it's like word of mouth marketing. You can't pay for that. You know what I mean? So already I've made the song with my cousin. My cousin's like, I want to show somebody. You know what I mean? Then we took it to Nick's house. Nick is like, gets Mike. And Mike is like, yo, we got to go to KK's right now. Orange Grove is pretty much where everyone goes with their cars and hangs out. He's like, we got to go there right now. We're taking it there. Like, he's demanding it. And I'm like, bro, all right, relax, bro. So we drive there. And we pull up, and then this guy jumps out the car. He calls everyone. He's like, everyone, come here, hey. Everyone, there's maybe like 50, 60 people just hanging out. He calls them over to the car, and he plays it, and like everyone's just like, yeah. And it felt surreal. Like, it didn't feel like it was real what was happening. But yeah, there was one guy, Habib, his birthday. I gave him the CD. I'm like, yo, this for you, bro. And then literally that night I went home, I uploaded it, and bro, I couldn't tell you what happened. It just traveled, you know what I mean? Like, and this is back in the day when like, so this is the early days of YouTube. What's this? I think maybe 2008, maybe. So it's early days of YouTube, so you don't even think much of YouTube. But then really where it really traveled was literally phone to phone. So that's just when phones started to have Bluetooth, and there was this thing called infrared. I don't even know if you know that. No. You're too young for even that. But infrared, it was like this little red thing on your phone, and then you need to bring it next to another phone, and it sends the file through an infrared file. So literally the file got sent around like phone to phone like that. It's kind of, in today's age, I'd say it's similar to how things get sent on WhatsApp. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like an actual file, like an actual video file, or things actually get sent. So they were sending it, and that's kind of just how it just traveled. You know what I mean? So yeah.
All right, that's insane.
Yeah.
It blows up. Did anyone take a problem with you like making a Lebanese song as a Ghanaian man, or nah? Or it's because you grew up in the area, you kind of...
It was like, it was cool, but like people... There was like some Lebos that thought I was really that character. They had an issue with me. But then I would like meet them and be like, nah, cuz like this is a joke, bro. Like we're just taking the piss. And we end up like, there was literally, I remember like there was 3 different guys that like online that were like, oh, this guy's a grunk, whatever. And then we'd see each other or whatever, and we ended up being friends, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it wasn't that deep in the end, but yeah, I think as well, most people knew it was a joke as well though, but yeah.
Would you say that video taught you so many of the basic structural lessons of how to market music?
Nah, not necessarily, because that was just all organic. Like, where I wanted to market it was I wanted to shoot a video clip. And I wanted to like get the Fat Pizza Boys in it, and I wanted to pretty much like what the brothers just did. Like, yeah. I wanted to do that back then. I wanted to get all of them, but when I hit them up, they said like some price, and like I didn't really have money like that, so it just kind of fell through. Like, it was just like, I had a full vision for the clip, and that's when like the marketing would have kicked in. But to be honest, once that fell through, and it just kind of had the legs on its own. You know. So but it all happened in a time of my life where I didn't know what the hell I was about to do. Like, I just came out of school and, like, I had no plans of what to do, man. I was literally just chasing the Centrelink check. Like, let me just get the dough. Like, literally, like, and then they ask you to go look for a job, so you have to go sit in there. So I'm like, fuck this, I'm not trying to look for a job like this. So I went to TAFE, got the youth allowance there. Yeah. But I didn't really, like, I wasn't going to TAFE to study. I was literally going there to just get the check.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had no idea what I was trying to do. But at that point, I literally started DJing, and that happened at the same time. And that kind of just, it helped kickstart my DJ career. So, yeah.
So that was your next move?
Yeah, it was pretty much.
To DJ.
I was getting booked for parties, like, every weekend. I'd do, like, 2-3 parties, like 16th, 18th, 21st, backyard parties. It was just like that pretty much, and the clubs wanted to book me, but I was like, nah, I don't want to do clubs yet. I want to build as a DJ first before I get into the club scene. So yeah.
What was the next step after you started doing all the 18s? Once you were finished with that, where did Ziggy head from there?
Yeah, went to the clubs, and then at the same time I was DJing for artists. Like, when I started DJing for artists from the start. So B Wise's group K1, my cousin was in that group. They literally. Their DJ Divi, he's the one that taught me how to DJ. Just because I was around, like I was just around, like I was just on their hip, you know what I mean? Like I didn't have no real reason to be there. But it's funny because when they look back at it now, they're like, you know, I was like the youngin', like they're all like 2-3 years older than me. So I was like maybe 16, 17, 18, hanging around them. But I was literally making little moves here and there to even help push them. Like, it's like little management things to an extent. It was hilarious. Like, I used to sell their CDs. I made their MySpace page back in the day. I used to, like, just do little things, and I didn't think nothing of it. But, yeah, it's just what I knew. Like, and I was so passionate about them as a group and the music they made that represented us as a people, you know, from the area, as well as, like, African Australians. So I was pushing there, but that's where I started DJing for them when Divi kind of fell out. Like, he got caught up in work and things like that, so he couldn't really be at every gig. And because he taught me how to DJ, kind of naturally progressed into, all right, I start DJing for them, you know? So, and then that was always like DJing for artists. From them, I DJed with Miracle, who's blessed now, then Manu, and I was always been DJing for artists. So yeah.
Yeah, and at what point did you go, I'm going to like move into the management space or, yeah, marketing management type of areas of music?
Yeah, that kind of built in, like, I always wanted to do radio, and that's what I was like focusing on, like mixtapes and building as a DJ to get to the radio platform. So what ended up happening as I'm DJing for Miracle, he's obviously at the studio, I'm still around. There was an opportunity to move into a studio in Alexandria, which is like, it was built like by these guys, Khaled and Manny and all that. This is their original studio that they made. And a bunch of them were moving out, and I'm like, yo, you can't close this place, like it's dope. Like, let's just get people in. So I ended up moving in with Manu and Be Wise. Dopamine moved in, Willstar, at the same time Blessed, Matt Black, and
Solo?
then Solo moved in second. Like, he didn't move in at that point, that exact point.
Yeah.
It was JD and Change, his name's changed now, but Rocker Mike and that, they had a room together, and then they eventually moved out, and then Solo came in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was there focusing on my DJing stuff in the studio to an extent, and I was just around, or now I'm around this collective of artists and producers. You know, everyone else is making music. I'm really just DJing, so I'm the only one not making music. But in that process is when they were just making this crazy music. Like, what they were making was same as the passion I had for the other guys. Like, it's just like, you just look at it like, this stuff needs to go further than where it's at, you know? Like, they're dropping it and no one's listening. Like, what's happening, you know? And that's kind of where I realized that's the piece that's missing, is the management, or at least management from people of our culture, you know what I mean? Like, people from the scene, or, you know what I mean? Like, the managers back then were only like these like Caucasian guys that were from a pop world, or like from here or there, like, and trying to come in and like, ooh, what's this opportunity? Okay, you know what I mean? Like, and it was like, and at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, they could actually bring skills and certain things to the table, but we needed also someone that understood it from our perspective, you know what I mean? And that's where I'm like, let me start getting into this. And it was the same time that Anther Rose came on my table. He like started coming around the studio, and it was cool because like I wasn't like, I'm gonna be a mad manager, I'm gonna do this. No, that's not how I went into it. It was more like, I want to help these guys. Anther's here, he's not as a part of the studio, he's the kind of an outsider. So I was like, all right, I can work with him. I believe in his stuff more than anything. I can work with him, but it's also like in a way that it's like, I'm not working with the guys that I've been around this whole time. It's like I'm working with someone that's outside, so it's not like, it's like less pressure, if anything, you know? So, But yeah, I started working with him at the same time. Then Manu started blowing up. He dropped a couple tracks and it just started blowing up. And like, I was pretty much just like mediating for him, because so many people wanted to come and manage him. So I was like pretty much taking the meetings. I was like setting it all up to make sure like he was able to pick the right person to get on as a manager. And in that process, it ended up being that I would co-manage with the person that came on board, Tom. And then, yeah, we kind of worked together on it. So, and then that's like where it all started, the management pretty much from there, just from the passion that we wanted to get this shit further than what it was at, you know? So, yeah.
Did you ever expect, from being a DJ, just being around the boys, being around your cousin, and then consequentially Be Wise as well?
Yeah.
Did you ever expect from that you would go on to manage the caliber of artist and grow the caliber of artist later on in your career?
Nah, not at all. I mean, like I said, out of school, bro, I had no idea what I was going to do. I literally, in school, we had work experience, man. I was the last person that picked something, and I didn't even pick something. They had to give it to me in the end. So I was like, I had no idea what I was going to do. And funny thing is, I used the Centrelink check to buy my first DJ equipment as well. It was like, I remember that, like, I traveled all the way to Castle Hill, bought these vinyls. It's crazy, but I had the vision of becoming a DJ for radio. That was my passion back then. Like,
who were the big DJs on Oz radio back then?
There was there was two that stood out to me. There was an Aussie DJ called Mr. Fat. So he was on, it might have been, I think it was Kuri Radio. It was like Wednesdays, and it was like maybe 5 p.m. Wednesdays or 4 p.m. Wednesdays, and I'd always listen to it when I would go to pick up my little brother from his daycare. My mum would go inside and I'll leave it and I'll be just listening. And he had a crazy style. And then the other one was Clinton Sparks. He was on 96.1. So he syndicated his radio show. So he was like, his radio was like on a Wednesday and a Sunday or something like that. And it was just this energy that was just like, I loved it. Like the way he was presenting the music, the energy he brought to it and all that. And that's really where I got a lot of my style from. You know, he's a big influence, Clinton Sparks. And then also online, there was guys like Charlie Sloth and Tim Westwood, you know what I mean? On the UK platforms like Grime Daily and Link Up and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Do you ever think you could have done something that like Charlie Sloth with the freestyles and even Westwood here? What was Westwood's called?
Westwood, he's called...
Westwood Sessions, Crib Sessions, no?
He did the...
Did he do Crib Sessions?
It was at the house. I don't know if it was called Crib Sessions. I just remember it was all the vinyls in the back. But, yeah.
Do you reckon you could have ever done something like Fire in the Booth?
We definitely had plans like to try something out, but to be honest, it's like Australia is just so limited, man. Like, bro, the UK, bro, how many of those people come in and spit? It's crazy, man. Like here, it's like so limited. Like, how many can you get? Like, you'd be lucky to get 20 crazy verses, like from 20 different people here. Like that can rap. You know what I mean? Like, there's a difference between someone can make good music and someone could do this, but the raps that they do on those things is just next level, bro. Like, and it's even on another level to the US to an extent. Like, they had to go harder to earn respect, you know. And when you look at Bugsy Malone's Fire in the Booth and like so many of their fire, bro, you know what I mean. Like, there's deep storytelling to the bars to just going for 8 minutes straight. You know, like, you know, that's why like it's such good quality that it broke their career. It's not even the fact that the platform was there. It's literally the content was just so good. Yeah. Like, that's how crazy it was. And like, we see, there's things here, like, I give props to, like, Take Flight and their stuff, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's got, you know, obviously you'll see there's a few that stand out, you know, over the others, you know. I remember Red Bull did their thing as well. There's a few that stood out. Hood Bars. Like, but there's only so far you can go with that, I feel, you know, like, it's, you know, it's just, yeah, it's crazy, but that's the honest truth that I see, man. So it's like, I definitely would have loved to do it, but then I also kind of was trying to vision, like, how long is this going to actually be worth something, you know. Even Triple J's doing it now, you know, and I mean, that doesn't necessarily feel authentic or anything, but at least that's a big platform that kind of opens it up to another world as well, though. So yeah.
Do you think one of the bigger problems in Oz hip hop is the way the music doesn't go far enough for the actual talent that is out there in the scene?
Nah, I think the first thing that holds us back is literally how many people we have. You know what I mean? Like
6 million.
Yeah, like that's the first thing, and then the amount of like people in our culture or our scene as well, just because of 26 million. Like, if I go to London, like, there's a lot more people that are like me there. You know what I mean? Just in general, you know what I mean? Like, even that aren't even in the music industry, just people like a half Ghanaian, half white guy. There's just so many more of those people out there than here, just in general. You know what I mean? So it's like, not even just the population number, the types, the percentage of the population number that are actually people of the culture or whatever as well, you know. So I feel like that's the first thing that holds us back to an extent. The second thing is like, man, we in a comfortable country, like, you know what I mean? Like, really hip hop comes from hunger, you know what I mean? Like, and we eat good here, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's the bottom line. So it's like, if we've got like a really good, like, obviously people do come from struggles and there's definitely trauma and there's things that people come from, but there's less of that than other places. That's the general gist, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Fuck. I'd never even thought about the population thing. I've thought about, but the hunger thing that's never crossed my mind. Because there's a lot of artists out here. I don't know if it's disrespectful to name drop, but there's a lot of artists out here that I think deserve much more recognition than they get. But I also think partially it's down to first of all, consumerism at the moment is a bit different because of TikTok. That all of us are yet to figure that out. I don't believe anyone that's got it cracked. The next thing would be, I feel like maybe they aren't the best at pushing their music out there. You know what I mean? And then that way they're underappreciated. because some of the art out here is pretty insane. Some of the bars that get thrown down is pretty cool as well.
Yeah.
But
no, it's true. And then ultimately it's just like, if there's like 10,000 people that would have fucked with your shit in London, there's only like 1,000 people maybe here that would as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just always against you as well. But it's not to say it can't be done. Like, it can definitely be done. It's just the odds are just against in a way. And it's like, we've always seen it. The audience, like the Australian consumer, their hunger for Aussie music too. There was a nice bolster in the scene from 2019 into COVID. You know what I mean? Where like a lot of artists dropped and the Aussie listener was actually interested in the Aussie music.
And who
you know
was
what I
next
mean?
as well, eh?
Yeah,
Like,
you know what I mean? Like, and for me, being in the industry so long, like probably 10 years at that point, it's like that was so good to see, because that's the reason back then what we're fighting for. But even now already, like it's only a few years past that, it seems like the Aussie consumer isn't looking for the Aussie hip-hop artists as much anymore, you know what I mean? So it's like, and how do you even, how can you alter that? You know what I mean? It's hard. Like, it's not like, you know, obviously a guy like Central C or all these overseas artists can come here and just mayhem, you know what I mean? But how come our guys can't create that mayhem to an extent? And I'm not saying our guys as in there's no one doing it. I'm just saying as in like there's not 100 people doing it. You know what I mean? You can't say 100 people are doing that, but you could say 100 UK artists could probably come here and do some impactful stuff. You know what I mean? Because people just love foreign stuff here, I guess, you know, and they digest it, you know.
Do you think versatility is also a bit of a downfall in the hip hop scene?
Yeah, I think it comes down to the creative spaces and the creative environments. I feel like when you go overseas, especially UK and LA and places like that, the way that the sessions run are just different. Even just having songwriters around.
How so?
Just like there's a different culture or expectation on the roles of people in the room. So it's like in Australia or in Sydney anyway, like Mixtry is like one of the only ones in our scene that's only an engineer. You know what I mean? Like all the other engineers are producer engineers or even artist engineers, or they do other things. Like Mixtry is like the only one that's like, he's an engineer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there could be a couple out there, but he's the one that's standing out right now. But over like in LA, like that's just the normal role in the studio. Like you have producers, then you have an engineer, and they're generally separate. And there's nothing wrong with them being together, but that's just how the scene has developed there, because it is an established scene and the infrastructure is built to that, where someone can be an engineer and be making money for just being an engineer, and someone can be just a producer and making money and doing what they need to do, you know? And then, yeah, just in general, like songwriting, I think is another thing. Like it's coming back to that hunger thing where like in America, like, bro, how many artists are there that are making noise, one, and how many artists are there that want to make noise? The number is crazy. So even if you want to try and get in, like you're doing more than just expecting things to just pop off. You know what I mean? Like maybe you have to write for people for 2 years to help you build network and relationships and even understand how these studio sessions are working and, you know, things like that. Like literally Kanye West, Neo, Frank Ocean, like all these people were writers before they were artists. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And these are like some of the biggest artists right now, you know, like literally like, So it's like, and then it's like you try and ask the smallest artists here in Australia, can you come like into this session and help someone write? I'm like, well, I'm not helping them. Like, bro, Kanye West literally was helping write. Like, Frank Ocean was helping write. Like, Neo was helping write songs. You know what I mean? You can't just come and, you're not making any money off music and you can't come and do this? What's going on, bro?
Yeah.
like, well, yeah.
I've used the example before. So I was lucky enough that one of my mates was into grime when we were younger.
Yeah,
so I was lucky enough to watch like legit. I remember watching Stormzy do Shut Up.
Yeah.
And just going, what the fuck is this? And then blows up, right?
Yeah.
But
so raw too, bro. Just like, just a camera in the street, bro. Boom.
But there's obviously like Stormzy example. But back in the day, I've always been a big Dave fan. I actually met him as well.
Yeah.
Cool yarn around that. But him and AJ Tracy, before they did Tiago Silva, there was a thing called song called Spirit Bomb. And there was Benny Banks was on it. One of Oh, yeah, he's a pretty good artist. Central C's on that. Now, if I was to tell someone, go find Central C on that song, they couldn't fucking point him out. It was that bad back in the day. He was proper shit. Skip over it. You know, you can hold the phone down and do the 10-second skip. Yeah. On the Spirit Bomb remix, you go find me Central C on that song, you'll be shocked. That was 2016.
It's crazy.
There's a young Dave on that. Dave's 2 years older than me. So that means Dave's 18 in that, bossing up Sench, who's the exact same age.
I don't understand how he's doing what he's doing for his age. He's just like so mature. It's crazy.
Yeah. And his story about his brothers, it's insane. And then, so Sench from 2016 has that song, and then it comes to like 2020 basically, where he comes out with Day in the Life. So for 4 years, that guy sat in the back ass of the scene, just working on his craft. And I feel like in Australia, there's not enough of that ability to like take a step back and reevaluate.
Develop. Yeah. And that's always the first thing that I tell any artist. All the youngins, they come to me and they're like, what can I do? What's this and that? And I'm just like, the first thing you can do is literally make 100 songs. You know what I mean? Because like, rather than make your first few and want to drop already. You know what I mean? Like, literally, I've seen already like artists drop early and then they've entered the world and now they're developing in front of the world, rather than behind the world and then coming out. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's the first thing that you can do wrong. And then the second thing is just, if you make that 100 songs, your skills are just going to get better. Like, your 100th song, you're probably going to be so much better at making the song. The song is probably just going to be so much better. But more importantly, you're going to find your story, your sound, or how you present your story at the end of the day, which is the most important thing. Is like, who are you? What is the message you're portraying? And why are people going to connect with you, you know? Which I don't think a lot of people think that deep when they're making their first songs anyway. Most of people's first songs is literally just copying their idols, you know what I mean? Like, so by that time, you're like, obviously you're going to learn from your idols, but now find a way to do what your idols were doing and make it your own, you know what I mean? So that's always something that I give to people when they ask me, what should I do? So, yeah.
I say as a reference point, I've spoken to artists before, as a reference point for them, you look at like Skepta's first and JME's first projects, like how versatile they were. But Dave's a really good example. His first project, 6 Paths, where it's quite literally 6 tracks. Each track is a different path he could have gone down in life.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I think it's like, obviously I'm not telling you to be like Dave, but I think that's like a good place to start with how versatile they started on their first projects.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a certain amount of preparation they had before they entered the public eye. I think that's the key. Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Because I feel like there's a few artists I've watched. There's a few that come to mind straight away where I've watched them go from 0 followers to a few thousand, drop a song, they're at 10,000, and I know they've probably got maybe 10 songs in the bank if they're lucky.
Yeah, even that side, like...
And then they're developing in front of the world. Yeah. And then when they drop something that's out of left field to what their fans know them for, they, you know what I mean? It's hard to describe, bro.
And like you said, like the song's banked, like consistency is a big part. Like there's some artists that it's their style that they dropped and then they disappeared for a year and then they came back and stuff. But in today's age,
Frank Ocean, bro.
Yeah, but today's age, it's like you literally got to just drop consistently dope stuff. Like that's how people again. That's how you're gonna stand above the pack. You know what I mean? So
I think in Australia at the moment that's the biggest thing because we're in like a single era. I feel
where
a lot of people just drop singles. What the fuck are we talking about?
People will drop the projects, but ain't nobody really listening to it like they used to as well. Yeah. So the singles are just so much more important, you know. And it's just like like how many like today like J. Cole dropped, Space dropped, and it's like. You're going to listen to those things at least once, but you're going to listen to them as a project 10 times, 20 times. Yeah. Back in the day, you would because it would be a CD and you just put it in your car and it stays in there for a month or 2 months until the next CD comes. And that's like you're literally playing that over and over again. So we don't have that luxury anymore. You know?
Bro, I saw an insane TikTok 2 days ago. It was this girl and she was talking about how she was listening to Fred Again's album. Right, obviously Fred Again's just on him. Yeah. I did another one, bro. I watched him. Who did he collab with back in the day? Hetty One. Yeah. Do you remember when him and Hetty did a project? Yeah, you're sweet. Yeah, him and Hetty, bro. They did a project, and Hetty copped like an insane amount of criticism for doing something like that far out of left field. Yeah. And come 4 years later, Hetty's like one of the goats for working with Fred. But this girl, she goes, "Oh, I was listening to Fred Again's album on shuffle, and I thought, oh, I'd never heard this song." And then she starts to talk about how she'd. Obviously, the end of the song just leading into the next song, as an album should. It's meant to be one continuous project. And this whole group of people, bro, this TikTok had like 10 to 20K likes, which means those people have acknowledged what she said, agreed with it. And then there was around 500 comments saying, yeah, I didn't know this either. Maybe 100 comments lucky going, like, how the fuck do you not know this? She didn't know you're meant to listen to albums in order. That gave me like...
Oh, she didn't even know that.
Bro, and the amount of people in the comments. I'll try and get it up once we're done. I was in shock that people, that consumerism of music's got to that point where people don't listen to an album in order. And that's not like common sense.
Yeah, that's almost disrespectful to an extent.
Yeah.
'Cause, I mean, we would understand because it's like I understand like this artist has presented a body.
Yes.
So I want to hear their body that they're presenting to us. You know what I mean? But yeah, a normal person probably ain't thinking that way. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it just needs to... bro, I don't know how you tell people to do that more often. It's like, how could you listen to Damn by Kendrick, not in order?
But it's also the album just has to be that good that people will do that as well.
Yeah.
Like there's only so many classic albums too. Like what's the new classic albums? Like it feels like it's harder and harder for an artist to drop a classic album, you know? That people... Like there's albums 20 years ago that we're listening to today. Like Get Rich and Die Trying. What an album, you know what I mean? Like,
it's so funny, eh?
It's like you can listen to that front to back today, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many albums that are dropping today will people be able to listen to in 5 years, in 10 years, you know what I mean? Like that. So I'm sure there will be, but yeah.
What was the last classic one in hip-hop that you think?
There was J. Cole, Forest Hill Drive. There was...
So 2014, you think?
Yeah, and Drake's Take Care. Like, it's not to say none of their albums after that weren't dope or anything, but I would go back to those albums and just be like, this is like a masterpiece to an extent. You know what I mean?
I think Damn by Kendrick's close.
See, Damn is not my style though. Like I don't listen to.
Do you ever listen to Duckworth?
I don't listen to Kendrick. Like I don't mess with Kendrick. Like
really,
I'm not saying. I feel like a lot of it's hype. Like a lot of people aren't listening to Kendrick like that. You know what I mean?
Right. You get in that car and you put it on Duckworth. You listen to what he's saying. That's one of the most insane storytelling songs of all time. How Top Dog would have killed his dad if his dad
Duckworth, when was that? On what? That's
at the end of Damn.
Yeah.
And it's the story of how what's.
But see, I don't like the Sonics though, because he got all the like the jazz and like.
Yeah, it's fair.
I'm not listening to that. I like the 808s and that. That's like the different balance, you know. That's why I really mess with Section 80. You know what I mean? And
Rigor Mortis.
Yeah, like that. Like that was like that's the Kendrick that I loved. You know what I mean? Just like
that part. What's that, bro? What's that song where he enters the wind is cool and the sky is falling, stand for something or die in the morning. Section 80 High Power. Yeah. Right, what a song. But on Duckworth, basically talks about how Top Dog was like the most notorious gang member in the area at the time. But his dad used to work at the chicken, like KFC. I don't know what the chicken joint was called, but basically just say they're KFC. His dad worked the drive-through, but his dad used to always put extra chicken in his order. And that way his dad became cool. His dad wasn't a gang member by any means. And that way his dad became cool with Top Dog, and that relationship was maintained when Top Dog, you know, had gang beefs in the area and robbed the chicken shop as well multiple times. He left Kendrick's dad alone. And then Kendrick talks about how 20 years later he brings him into the studio together when he's real young, and they realize like, his dad had fostered that relationship. It kept Kendrick alive at one point. There was like an incident that went bad. That Duckworth song, bro. You got to listen to it, man.
Crazy,
And the album in order, I don't know. That's my last classic per se.
But
there's definitely some more out there. Like
I love the R&B. The R&B albums are dropping today that are dope. Like,
Did you listen to? I saw in your story. You listen to Cole's one.
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I listened on the way here. I'm like, this is a perfect drive. Like, we are in Penrith, if you didn't know. It's like, it's literally, as soon as I pulled up, is when the last song ended. Like, so it was
Did you like it?
It was cool. It was cool. I feel like it's, I don't know if I'll be right in saying this, but I feel like he didn't necessarily touch the production on this one as much as he did on these other ones. And I think that was, I feel, because I'm a J. Cole really big fan from the start. It's like, that's what I feel was one of the things that holds him back a little bit, is when he wants to produce his own things a lot, where he has access to like anyone to produce his stuff. You know what I mean?
What a
like,
roster.
Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of why some of the Sonics was like holding him back a bit, like his content and his storytelling, and also him compared to Kendrick is like, he's just more digestible. Like it's easier for an everyday person to listen and hear what J. Cole's saying compared to what Kendrick's saying, you know what I mean? Like you got to like really concentrate to hear what Kendrick's saying compared to J. Cole, for instance. And I think that's what the the differences in them. But yeah, no, it was dope. I got to listen to it again though. But that was the first listen. There was definitely some dope bars in there. He was talking. He just mentions guns a bit too much and saying that he's #1 a lot. I don't like that necessarily.
Isn't there a beef going on?
Yeah, it's like apparently, you know, Kendrick threw shots at Drake and others as well, including J. Cole. And apparently one of the last track on there, 7 Minute Drill, is directed a bit at Kendrick. Sometimes you don't know how deep it is.
I'm behind on this one. Where did it all start?
I think it's always been going back and forth. Someone says like back in the day, like when ASAP Rocky dropped Problems, he put
Kendrick on it.
Yeah, I think it was Kendrick on it. Kendrick, 2 Chainz, and Drake was on it.
Yeah.
But then something about a tour, and that's where like he chose to go on tour with Drake or something. There was some story from all the way back then that kind of was where like all of these exciting artists were just dropping their mixtapes and they were all like this, and then that's where kind of like the tension started. But it hasn't been like a real tension. It's just been subliminals or here and there and saying I'm the best and stuff like that. So. Yeah.
You know who I love, and he got involved with Kendrick at one point? I love Big Sean.
Yeah,
I love his albums. I don't know why. Just people go,
I like that he makes like he makes hit songs as well. Like, you know what I mean?
He's
like,
got it in him. Yeah.
You know, like I feel like these artists today aren't doing that anymore. You know what I mean? They're not making that song that, let's make a song for the radio, or the song that could play in the clubs, or they're just making their art for their art. You know what I mean? So there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like we're not getting those usual bangers that just are bangers that play everywhere. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Every project he drops a few, but back in the day, he Control and Kendrick hops on it and just Big Sean on his own track.
Yeah.
Big Sean in his latest album opens up about the fact that there was an actual beef going on after a while between him and Kendrick because he held resentment over the fact. But when Nipsey died, he called Kendrick straight away to like even that out. But it was crazy for me to hear like him and Kendrick genuinely had a beef behind the scenes. And that side of hip hop, bro, is crazy.
And it's also like, what is beef? You know what I mean? Like, there's beef, there's street beef, there's
Drake,
beef,
Pusha T.
There's real beef, and then there's lyrical beef, and then there's just like, I don't like you and you don't like me. Is that really a beef? Or like, do you know what I mean?
It's
just like
human experience.
Yeah, it's like, so there's things like that. But what I'm more excited about is if Stormzy and Bugsy go at each other. That would be crazy.
You know who Stormzy lost to? Horribly? Chip.
Yeah. I mean,
bro, he got murdered.
Just recently, he didn't respond, but that's the thing.
Yeah, he couldn't.
He couldn't because, like, he's on another level to Chip. That's the thing, too.
No, he didn't respond. He didn't respond. I reckon he didn't respond because he knows he can't go bar for bar.
He can. He just doesn't want to give Chip that platform. That's what it is, because he's on another level. You know what I mean? If he does that, he's bringing Chip up. But that's why I say Bugsy, because Bugsy is, like, Chip has come and go, and like realistically Chip went up, pop shit and all that, came back, and then he earned his stripes by the beef with Bugsy and going back and forth with Bugsy, and at the end of the day no one lost that. They both won out of that. You know what I mean? Chip got his stripes and Bugsy's career just kind of took off from there. But now Bugsy's still relevant and hot. Chip isn't. You know what I mean? So it's like, why would Stormzy, who's relevant and hot, be beefing with Chip? You know what I mean?
He started it.
Yeah.
That's what I think. It's like you started but you couldn't finish it.
Yeah.
I think that's like #1 rule. If you're gonna send first disc in public, Oh no, I think Chip actually started.
I couldn't tell you.
Nah, Chip did on the way.
I know Stormzy pulled up to his house or something.
Yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought when Chip wrote Flowers, I just thought he killed him. When Chip pulls up at a server, it's always fun.
Crazy, 100%, bro. I'm telling you, I was watching the Bugsy and Chip back to back. That was the same time as Drake and Meek Mill.
Yeah,
everyone was talking about Drake and Meek Mill. I'm like, bro, this one in the UK is like, they're literally dropping a track a day, bro, at each other. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then Chip will just drop 3 out of nowhere, like, bro, the shit was crazy.
I remember Chip went at Youngin.
Yeah.
That guy's career died that day. That was insane. I've never seen that.
Somehow Skepta got involved with Devilman, And it just like it started branching out. It was crazy.
Me and my mate, that's one of our favourite bars at the end of Nasty, where he's just gibbering in Chinese because Devilman's half Chinese. And it's just one of the most creative disses I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. But yeah, and then Chip almost beefed Skep as well at one point, and they had to take a phone call over it. And it's one of the ends of the Konnichiwa album. I swear on one of the songs, bro, it's Chip picking up the phone, going and they're talking it through. Well, I don't know. I genuinely think Stormzy, bar for bar, struggles against Chip toe-to-toe. That's just my opinion. Because, bro, Flowers was an insane diss. And then the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
That was an insane follow-up, bro.
Yeah, Chip is as an MC, crazy. But
as an artist, I completely agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
But if you're going to get into a MC battle, which is what it is, don't go hiding from it. I know you're big bad Stormzy. I know you're like one of the biggest in the world.
But it's the same thing. Like, who's Drake gonna beef with? You know what I mean? Like, does Drake beef with? I'm trying to find an example.
Do you think Meek Mill like was better for it?
Nah, Meek Mill hasn't been as hot since then. Like, I feel like
he's in hot water now. But
before then, it was like he was a street anthems. You know what I mean? Now it's like I don't think like I mean, personally, I'm not like when I listen to his music, it's not even that. But also because he's in a different part of his life now too. He's not that hungry guy coming up from the street anymore too. You know what I mean? He's that guy that's made it. So it's like, how can he? And it's kind of he gets stuck in rapping about the same stuff that he's been rapping about. You know what I mean? It's just like, I mean, I don't think he's progressed as an artist. That's just all it is.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. I wanted to ask you, we were talking about like the limitations of the Australian scene. Some of the artists that you've had something to do with that have broken overseas, Hefs, Day One, and JC even with What's Good.
Yeah.
Hefs especially, and Day One with Boss, that went to, I didn't really keep track of it, but I remember like just seeing the numbers at one point and the countries it reached. I was like, holy fuck, I actually didn't realize
it was on the charts in Ireland. It was like real random, but it was crazy.
As someone involved in with those artists, what's the process in breaking international barriers and getting Australian street level hip hop artists on the charts in fucking Ireland, or been playing on speakers in the UK? How do you even scheme to that level? It's
like there's no 100% way to do it, and I think that's the thing with music. Like there's no blueprint. Like this is how you do it. You know what I mean? Ultimately, you just have to try different things. Some of the things just even come down to mainly it's just organic, and then once the organic stuff happens, what can you do to add fuel to the fire? You know what I mean? So something like Boss, like I remember we did a Welcome to the Area show in Parramatta, and literally like we booked like Hefs, Hooks, Day One, JC, Space Lee, Rops. It was just like a whole list of artists, and it was like
mad lineup, bro. Looking back at that, that's an insane lineup.
It was really early on in like the whole essence of things, but literally like Day One hadn't dropped a song yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. He had songs on SoundCloud. That's it. So like in the lead up to that, he's like, I want to drop a song. So he made Boss, and he just dropped it because he wanted to have a song out when he came and performed in Sydney. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he literally dropped it on YouTube. It came on like Spotify like maybe a few weeks later. It didn't come out the gates crazy, but then it just started like just growing and growing and growing, so just organically,
Right, but what were some moves that you and Day One made that you think helped push that song? Or do you think it's purely the fact that the song was
that's the organic side of it that just happened without us even pushing it? You know what I mean? And then from there, it's like, all right, there's traction here. There's some things going on in Ireland. All right, let's do an Irish remix. Let's, get some Irish influencers to post about it. Let's interact with the Irish people. On top of that, let's go and do this remix here, or let's like do things like that. So we did an Irish remix, which was cool. Like we just connected with a bunch of like some of the top guys over there.
How the fuck do you connect with them?
Just gotta
Instagram.
You find just research. Like usually their managers are reachable, especially like Ireland ain't like the biggest country as well, like compared to like the UK. Yeah. But there's like Officer, he was like the biggest out there, and then there was the other guys that we worked with too. But even the guy that manages Officer manages some of the other guys too. So kind of just But
because he did for those listening, Officer did the Fumes, wasn't it?
Yeah, Fumes, and he had the
A92. Yeah, one of Fume's biggest freestyles that came out of there.
But yeah, basically we do that, and then we did a few remixes. We did even a remix here with Montellum. That one went dope too. Similar thing with like a song like Mbappe, you know what I mean? Like we got Cahooks on there, and we already knew Mbappe, French, the World Cup's coming up. Let's plan some things around that, you know what I mean? And then when we dropped it and it went well, like, all right, let's do a global remix, you know? So we got J1 on it. We got a French artist. We have to get a French artist. So we got a French artist on it too. And then now all of a sudden, which hadn't really been done, like Aussie artists put a UK and a French artist on their remix. In the lead up to that, people, like a UK artist had an Aussie artist on their remix, you know what I mean? It wasn't really going the other way around. So that was kind of cool to kind of do and just like touch. And like now he's getting more listeners in the UK and France because of just that move, for instance. So it's like already him making the dope song and dropping it and people connecting with it is the start. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like from there, what can you do to push it? Like you can never force people to like a song. There's even songs that you believe in and you're like out the gates, you want to do this, this and that, and then just it doesn't connect. Like sometimes that's why it's just better sometimes to actually just keep dropping music, and when it connects, then add the fuel to the fire. You know what I mean? Because you can't really force a lot of things. Like it'd be amazing if we could create TikTok trends like that. You know what I mean? But as much as your idea might sound like it's gonna work, you get a few influencers to do it. It doesn't go nowhere. And it's like you just paid a couple G's for like 5 influencers to post to a challenge and it didn't work. But look, you still have to try these things because eventually one can just blow up. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing, like there's not one way to do it, but you have to be in the game if you want to try and win, you know? And if you're not doing these things, then how are you going to get to the next level? You're hoping that someone random's going to pick it up for you, which can happen, yes, but it's like 1 in a million, you know what I mean? So at least when you're doing these other things, you make it 1 in 500,000 now, or you know what I mean? You decrease the odds of it not happening, you know? So, yeah.
What would you say some of your most successful marketing moves have been in music?
Successful-wise? It's hard because, like...
How do you gauge it?
Marketing music is like... It can also almost be subjective, just like how much, like, how do you say a song is good? You know, you can't necessarily, to an extent, there's no 100% way that you can just be like, I'm going to spend $10,000 this way and it's going to get these results. Do you know what I mean? Like,
there's no KPIs.
Yeah, the realistic nature of it is like you can build awareness, you can put yourself in positions that give you more chance for it, but the results aren't guaranteed to come to an extent. But I think the main ones that we did and learned from early on was with Manu Crooks, and it even happened organically, but it was a marketing move to an extent where it's like we're able to get his songs on some YouTube vlogs, and like that's what tripped the YouTube algorithm, and it started feeding his music videos to more people, like because of the trick. So what happened is, like, there was the guy, Jamie and Nikki, they had this vlog. They put the song in there. They put the link in the bio. And, like, he had diehard fans. And the diehard fans are now going to the music video. They're commenting on it. They're saying, Jamie and Nikki brought me here. And there's literally, like, 200 comments saying that. And now YouTube is like, oh, people are coming here and they're commenting. They're interacting with it. They must like this video, so let's share it to more people. But at the core essence of it was that the music and the video was really good. You know what I mean? Like, you could have done that and it's not that good, and then YouTube tries to push it out to some people, and then those people don't like it, and then it just stops. You know what I mean? But at that point, it kept going. And then there was another one in Germany. This is JP Performance. He had a car vlog, and he just like he put the song in the vlog, and the same thing. People came over to the comments. JP brought me here, and I think a part of that was, see, this is Manu doing it organically, where he put BMW in his car. In his film clip, the old one, the E30, and it's like, see, we don't have a clue, but in Germany they're like, bro, this guy's got the E30 in there, you know, like they're saying like this is hectic, like this guy in Australia's got this. It's like when we put it in perspective, imagine someone in France has a music video and there's just a VL, a Holden VL is just there. It's like we're never gonna see that, but imagine we did. We'll be like, bro, this is hectic, you know what I mean? So. Obviously, the VLs don't go over there, though, but I'm sure they know German cars are here, but that's still dope to see a vintage car like that, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why I think the car vlogger messed with the song so much. Because one, the song was already good, but then the fact that he had a dope car that he messed with personally, that's what I think made him put in his vlog and do all that, you know what I mean? So, and that's kind of, that was one thing that I think that method can still work today, but it's not easy to kind of get these vloggers to put your music in their thing. And sometimes, like, how much are they gonna, like, if you want, imagine Sidemen put your song in their vlog, it's like, yeah, how much are they gonna charge for that though, you know what I mean? Or organically they might do it, you know? I remember, I think it was Nelk Boys put Kid Laroi's music in their one. I was like, oh, that's a good look, you know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure that just happened because they messed with it, you know what I mean? Not so much like, can you put this on, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, bro, that's crazy, eh? Like, people will be listening to that and go, fuck, that's awesome, eh? Because, bro, that level of thinking, I know you're just kind of rattling off, like, your knowledge and what you've done, but that level of thinking to, like, contact vloggers and to relevant to the audience and then get them to send traffic back towards you to then put you guys into the algorithm. It's just insane. I don't think people think about it in depth enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And that's just coming from studying, and like that's why I've been studying TikTok now too. Is like kind of understand like
such a fucking
what's happening there too. Bro. And I
do it right in there, and it's hard like to crack.
100%. And it's like we got a marketing company, and it's like because even how it even came about, not the whole marketing company as a whole, but the TikTok side. It's like when we go to market like a day one track or something like that, and we do want TikTok to post, if we go to these agencies, bro, they're like, oh, $5,000 for one post. We're like, bro, come on, like that's not our budget, first and foremost, but two, we can get this done for a lot cheaper, you know what I mean? So we go on our own whim and we get, we're able to get it done for cheaper, and it's like, it's also like, it's got to be relative. Like if I'm going to pay you $5,000 for a post, what am I actually going to get it? Like, if you guarantee that you start a trend and then I get return from that, I'm going to come and pay the $5,000 all the time, 100%. But most of the times, TikTok, even for the TikTokers, is just a game. They just spitting out content every second day. Some of them are going viral, some of them are going here. So to an extent, they can't even necessarily be charging that much to the smaller business. But look, if they're getting those bags from the big companies, then hey, that's dope for them, you know what I mean? But realistically, a lot of these TikTokers use music in their stuff already. So we've kind of built a relationship with a lot of guys that it's like we're able to keep coming back to them with new stuff. And what ends up happening is like we do campaigns for like a Warner or Sony. And it's like when there's a trending song or sound, which is already, that's even, it helps us do the job even better, because if there's already a trend happening, we can now go to a TikToker that suits the trend and be like, hey, can you jump on this? It's not like we're asking them to do a trend, like to start a trend. It's kind of like the wheel's already turning. Now we're just pushing the wheel, you know what I mean? So, that was kind of like another part of the marketing side that we're kind of pushing on now. So we do a lot of campaigns. I remember the Body Tion Wayne one, because like I'll be on TikTok researching a lot. And I remember like the first day that they put that challenge up, I'm just like, yo, this is crazy, man. I messaged one, I'm like, yo, have you seen this? Like, and then they hit me back. It's a cool relationship. It's just like, yeah, well, we've got this budget. And then it's like, boom, straight away we go to all the influencers. We're like, this is what we can do. And we go to the ones that suit the challenge at the end of the day too. So like,
why would you get involved with the challenge?
So it's our business at the end of the day. Like, we get a service fee to do that.
From the music label?
Yeah, from the label to get the TikTokers to do that, you know? And then we're also building rapport with TikTokers. Like, we're getting them paid. You know what I mean? So when we want to do our artist one...
Fuck, if you're paying well, I'll do it.
If you can make it go viral. But so when we want to do our own music too, we can slot into that system as well. So it's like just building a rapport and building a relationship that like we can be like, hey, we got this sound. Within 2 days, we have a TikTok up. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, whereas like back then, like especially YouTube, for instance, you try and email these YouTubers, no one's responding. You know what I mean? But if you build this rapport with certain people, obviously TikTok is short form content, so they're moving at a rapid pace as well. Anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, bro, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Fuck. That's insane to me, eh? That Body remix, that blew up in the Italian football team because it had...
The Italian remix, yeah.
Yeah, Rondo on it. Spaghetti Mafia. Yeah. And then he starts talking English for a bit. And then, they're all Chiesa edits. But that pushed the song so far because Chiesa was killing the Euros, like dominated.
Yeah.
That edits, that song is all that's been used for the edits.
Yeah.
So you already have all these people just watching Chiesa for Chiesa's masterclass at
like
the time.
Turning it would be playing like someone would be running
slow motion and
it was just like then they scored a goal or something.
And like that just blew up the actual
that was even
remix.
the third wave because it was the body that came out
and then
did a
H,
sting, then the H one, and then that one too. So it was like
bro, that's crazy.
Not even H.
Who's
RD?
Who's Russ's manager?
Russ, I couldn't tell you, man. I know Tion's one.
Right. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Russ's manager must do all right. I'll show you my TikTok. I actually want to show you while you're here. I'm not sure if you've seen it. The Helos one is just like podcast clips, whatever. It does all right. Most of the clips get like minimum 10K. But, oh shit, see, I'm blowing up on TikTok right now. Just shit, like just proper Sunday League stuff, eh?
That's hilarious.
And if you scroll down the next, like,
Sunday League. All the boys are half cut. Pretty sure Brent's still drunk. Travis bombing out a car about 5 hours ago. But yeah, they're looking good. Can't go skiing. We've actually got 14 today, but James is reffing because we don't have a ref. So we're in shambles. Pete's looking good. Pete's going up front. How do you feel, Pete? Yeah. There's Town. He's about to start the game, as you can tell. And yeah, we'll see you full time.
so I just do that, right?
Yeah.
And then that's like different content. That I think was my most. That was 6:30. But yeah, I just do that like pre and post game, and it, like I don't know, bro. It's such a weird platform. Such a weird platform. I started posting them on Reels. So last year I just did Instagram story. Purely for the captions because it just makes it 10 times easier on the go. And I started doing it on Reels, and now they're all getting like minimum 10K on Reels. It's a weird, bro. It's weird. It's such a weird thing to try and figure out.
I think it's very organic. That's like it's like you're just literally just showing it how it is.
Yeah,
I feel like people mess with that, you know, like just the rawness of
relatability. I think that's one of the key factors I've learned. You either educate, entertain, or relate. That's usually it's educate or entertain, but if you can relate in there as well, like I wanted to ask you about a few things, a few artists that when I scroll through your Instagram, crazy. So in 2016, you posted a photo with Brent Faiyaz. Now I didn't write down the caption, so I could get this wrong, but it's basically like along the lines of this guy's going to blow up. In 2016, Brent Faiyaz, to repeat to the listener or watcher. How the fuck did you know in 2016 that Brent Faiyaz was going to be Brent Faiyaz?
You hear his voice? Come on, man. He crazy with it. But nah, he just...
How'd you meet him?
I remember it was R&Bass. I was working closely with R&Bass, but they were a blog on SoundCloud. So they always reposting music. And I remember I'm always on SoundCloud at that. This is literally that time where like the DJing and the radio and always finding new music. But literally... they reposted his project. He literally just dropped his project, his first one. I think it was self-titled, maybe, an EP. I can't remember what it was actually called, but he just dropped it. And then, or maybe it was the Sonda one. No, it was the one before Sonda. And then he dropped it, and they literally reshared it straight away. And then I listened to it straight away, and I'm just like, yo, what is this, bro? There was a song on there called No One Knows. I loved that song. Just kept listening to it over and over. But I emailed him straight away. I'm like, yo, can I get the radio edits so I can play on the radio? I was on Case Raw back then. And they responded back, and they're like, we're actually going to be in Australia in 2 months. Let's link up. So, yeah, it was just literally that. Like, I was there so early. I just hit them up, and it was a coincidence that they'll come into Australia already. And it ended up being when Gold Link was coming. So it ended up, Gold Link came as well as Denzel Curry at that time. And Manu was supporting Denzel Curry. So it was this weird week of like all these guys were in town. They're all kind of like internet artists. They're kind of all connecting and stuff. So I remember we played at when he cut into town. We're like, yo, come to this show. It's like, yeah, I'm actually going to be there because Golden Link's going to be there. And this is before they dropped Crew. You know what I mean? So even Brent was kind of trying to hustle and be like, you know what I mean? Like I remember he came after that Denzel Curry show. We went back to the studio and we were waiting for Gold Link. Like he wanted Gold Link to come so he could show him his project. And then he's just like the Sonda project, and he's sitting there and like he didn't end up coming. So he showed us the project, and just like, this is crazy. And Goldlink's manager was there, and he played us this unreleased Andre 3000 verse. It was like, bro, this is crazy, bro. But it was just like, yeah, like that's kind of just how it happened organically. Like we just kind of met. He came to the studio, we just messed with each other, like. Took him out. I used to run a club called Trill back then. Took him out there, hosted him, got him a table. He just, showed him the city, you know. And then,
So what you're telling me is you were in the room when essentially the idea for Crew comes about because you're in the room with Goldlink's manager?
Nah, Goldlink wasn't. No, I mean, they were already like working together or in the circles together. You know what I mean?
Big song, bro.
It was like, but I feel like it probably did come out after that. Like, it probably was created after that. But for some reason, I think Brent knew that if he did something with Goldlink, it would probably help him, you know what I mean, grow. It's like, because that was back when Soulection was like early, like they literally blew up like Goldlink, you know what I mean? So it's like whatever Soulection was posting, like artists were blowing up, you know what I mean? So it's like,
And then, so you also met T.I. How'd you meet him?
T.I. was just, it was a Sony promo thing when he came out. He flew in like for 1 day or 2 days and then left. He came and he played his album for us. It was like just a few media and crew were invited. Patrina invited us down. So yeah, shout out to her.
Whatever you like.
But that was
my favorite songs.
It was crazy because if you see the Sexy Bitch remix, I actually did a remix before that, which was T.I. Whatever You Like.
Oh, I love that song.
And it was like Bondi, Burwood, baby, you can go wherever you like. It was like it was hilarious, bro. I was like, it's embarrassing, bro. I probably took it down off YouTube, but yeah, this is just me being fucking 18 and just young.
You've clearly got the mind. Yeah. You've clearly always had the mind. Skep. How'd Skep?
Skepta was early when he came. I think it was his second tour, maybe his first. He did like a warehouse party or something. But there was a day, I just knew that we needed to connect with him. And what ended up happening was, like I was doing research, I was just following him on Instagram, and I seen that he was going to go to this tattoo shop, or someone told me he's going to go there or something. I can't remember, but I just knew he was going to go to this tattoo shop. So I waited outside the tattoo shop, and like it was probably a CD, it was a USB with music on it, with like Manu's music and Ampha's music and Miracle's music and all their music on it. And I wanted to get it to him. And it was beats as well. Miracle gave me beats to give to him as well. And I just wanted to give it to him so bad because I believed in our guys. And I'm like, Skepta's like such a like creative, like respected voice. You know what I mean? Like he could shine light on Australia type thing. You know what I mean? And then he ended up coming out. And it was raining, and like I said, what's up to him, and it was like I think it was me and another person or something like. But he respected that, like we were there for him, you know. He's like, oh, sick, what's good, man. Yeah. He even came, like he put his stuff in the car and came. We went undercover somewhere just to even take a photo, and I gave him the CD and stuff like that. And I remember I wrote my phone number on like a $50 bill and gave it with the CD or the USB. And like I remember he went back to the car and he got another $50 bill. He took that one, but then he got another one and gave me that. Like to make sure, like, I don't want your money, but I'll take the details, you know. So that was back then. And then we ended up touring with him on Listen Out with Manu, which was sick. That was ASAP Rocky, him. We actually replaced Little Skies on that tour, which was crazy.
Little Skies at the time, for those listening, was insane numbers.
Yeah.
And all that.
100%, bro. And that was like, we kind of got the jump on it because like, we were talking to him and his team because he worked with Laroi back then. So it was like, we're looking forward to the moment of him coming, and then he's like, oh, I'm not coming. Yeah. And we were kind of bummed about it, but it worked out because we got to tour on it anyway. Yeah, and we got to bring Laroi out on Listen Out too, which was crazy too. So, yeah.
Ray Shrumman.
Ray Shrumman, similar to Ray Shrumman, we had them at our club. So the club that I ran, Trill, we booked Ray Shrumman after, I think they were on Listen Out or something. We booked them after just for an appearance, but they ended up performing like 5-6 songs. They're just going crazy. As soon as they came in the club, they just jumped on the speaker. They just turning up, man.
Proper performers. They come across as natural, like performers.
100%.
More than anything.
Yeah. We had Skepta at the club too. That was one of my favorite club nights because it was at a point where I was managing Laroi and I knew where I was going to go. and the club stuff wasn't really. It was good, like it was lucrative, but it was the setup and how it was running. I wasn't really too happy with it, and I was kind of like doing the most work for the Sydney leg as well, and I just like I didn't feel like it made sense for me to bring the value, but also then break the bread as much as it was. So I'm just like, I'm just gonna pull out of this. And I know if I pull out, like, it's just not going to keep going. Yeah. Because, like, I'm the one that's pretty much doing it. But I'm like, all right, so we're going to get Skepta. We're going to call the night Shutdown. And he's going to perform Shutdown. And then we're going to, that's the end of the club.
Is that after he did the London Shutdown?
Yeah, this is, yeah.
Bro, that's so fucking...
So he shut down True Sydney.
Yeah, I just clocked what you said. That's mad marketing. Yeah, what a way to fucking...
It's not even marketing. It's just how I'm like, it's such a good era. Like, if anyone knows True, like, in the era that it was, like, yeah, it wasn't like your pristine club, but it was like the club that you go to for the hot music. Like, we were like the hottest hip-hop club before hip-hop clubs were... No, I wouldn't say before hip-hop, because back in the day, there was even XO, and there was a lot of other clubs back then, but when we started was in the lockout, when lockout started. So all the clubs were going down. We were like the only hip-hop club in Sydney pretty much at that point. And like, it was an era, you know what I mean? It's like a true era. Like, that's where you go, you know, every Saturday you can go there for the music and things like that. So, yeah, and it's just, we had to shut it down right.
Yeah, bro, that's mad. I don't think I ever went to Trill, did I?
Maybe. If you're 24, we shut down in 2018, was it? Maybe.
I might have just missed you.
Yeah.
I was
Because you'd be just 18.
Yeah, bro, I was a slut for Chinese laundry, but I still love going there, right?
Yeah.
Because I like, bro, it's always, I think with people, when I talk about hip hop, because of my love for it, I think people kind of mistake the idea that, like, I don't enjoy...
Stayed in hip-hop or...
Yeah, they think I stay in that, whereas, like, nah, not really. Like, I just love music, eh?
Yeah.
And especially hip-hop, because it's such a derivative of other genres.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I wasn't Trill. What's the one in Melbourne I went to? Laundry. I went there twice.
Laundry, it's like a little stage, and, like, it's a hip-hop club that do a lot of shows and club nights, so...
Yeah, that was mad fun. Now... you mentioned Laroi earlier. You had like somewhat of a part in his journey. What was that like watching that? Like,
this one was like, it was just special. Like, he just from early, like, I remember, I believe I found him either when it was 12 or 13, and like, I knew, like, I remember the day that I seen his stuff, I took it to like Miracle and the other boys. I'm just like, yo, watch this. This guy's going to be the future. Like, he's going to be the future of Australian hip-hop. And it's like, I couldn't even tell you why I believed that so much, but it's literally like, he's just literally the rawest video, Facebook video with 100 views or something. And it's just like, nah, this is the future. So it just kind of worked out that I started working with him. And yeah, it's crazy to see him grow as an artist. Like, when I first thought that I was gonna work with him, I'm like, all right, we'll bring him in, get some people to write for him, we'll do this and that, you know what I mean? I brought him into the studio just to like do some like casual sessions to like, just because I didn't want to like just
easy in type of
I didn't want to bring him in and be like, hey everyone, this is the guy, work with him, you know what I mean? I just booked a session to the side. So the studio, we had 6 rooms, just booked a session there with Clapback. He used to come in like every second day, every third day, just do like a few hours. But from the start of that, it just went like, he came in and his songwriting ability was just crazy. Like, from the start, like, I think one of the first things he recorded with us was the Disconnect demo. And it's just like, bro, what is this, man? Like, this, like that. Once he did that, I was like, wow, nah, like, this is really special. Like, what I thought he could go to here with help, but then when he came in and did that, I'm like, bro, he's like, let's go, you know what I mean? Like, it's actually, like, it's like he's got what it takes, you know what I mean? And then also the hustle and the hunger that he had too was just crazy. Like, he would do, like, because I'm working with other artists and like, they wouldn't do things that I'm like, yo, let's go do things. Like, this is like, back in that day, like, I'm standing outside a Drake concert with CDs and handing them out to the cars. Like, I'm at the car park. You've got 20,000 Drake fans. I'm like, these people like Anther Rose. These people like Manu Crooks. They're at a Drake concert. They definitely like this music. So I'm standing at the car park with CDs like, yo, play this, y'all. bet you're gonna like this. Trust me. And this is also when CDs are about to go out as well.
Yeah.
So if they put it in and they liked it, it stayed in there. You know, like I said, it's stayed in there longer than even back when you change it every month. You know what I mean? Just stays in there. You know. But so yeah, like I'm doing that, but some of the artists aren't like going and like it's like where's the belief in your shit like to go and push, you know what I mean? Like so like but Laroi had that belief, like he always knew he wanted to do what he wanted to do and he just hustled hard for it, you know? So yeah.
Did you always think like this kid would probably break the nah, that's not a good way of wording it. Did it become apparent to you at some point, like after working with him, how long did it take you to recognize, oh, like this kid's actually something different Australia had never seen at that point before? How long into it did you realize like, oh, I've got an outlier?
I think, like I said, as soon as he came in and he could write, it's not just write a good song, it's like write his experience in a song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That takes like a certain level of artistic maturity. Like we're saying, developing and finding your story. Like this guy was able to like, he really used music as, and he still say to this day, I don't know his life experiences right now, but obviously, and I don't listen to his music that much, but back then, it was his diary. The music was his diary. You know what I mean? It was his journal. It was his outlet, and it was his life. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, it was crazy. The one thing we did I think it was Blessings. Like when he recorded Blessings, it's like everything in that song, it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But everything in that song happened by the time we dropped that song. It was like, it was crazy. Like, it was like,
the foreshadowing.
Yeah, he's talking about things that haven't happened, but they were gonna happen in the next 6 months or something in that song. And by the time we dropped it after 8 months, it's like this things already happened. And a few of the songs that we dropped were like that. It was crazy. So it was like, yeah, from the start, like when he could write like that, it's like that's a rare thing, you know? Yeah.
Crazy, eh? Now, it is midnight for those watching, so I do want to, I don't want you to fucking get home.
What time did we start? Damn, this one's long, bro.
Yeah,
how
I
long
think
are
we started
yours
at 11.
usually? Yeah,
I've done a 3-hour one with Lee Monroe.
3 hours?
I know, bro.
Lee likes to talk.
Yeah.
Eat a G, bro.
OGA.
Yeah,
OG,
bro. Fit kid, bro.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, like, he used to play at Bankstown. Basketball was like, yo, Fit kid's playing at the basketball course, you know what I mean? It's crazy, but yeah. Now, he knocked down doors, bro. He done stuff before. A lot of hip-hop artists had done them. There's not many that, like, were on that level, you know, even How as well. Like, what they've done is crazy. Like, in this,
talking to Lee, I think that's one thing that kind of frustrated him was how he kind of felt like he was not brushed aside, that there wasn't recognition paid for the fact he went over to the fucking US, got in, like, Red Food at the time wasn't big, but Red Food's uncle, is it uncle or dad? One of Red Food's is like Red Food's uncle or dad's the head of Sony or some shit, something crazy.
Like some Motown, I think.
Yeah.
I think it was Motown or something. Yeah.
So Lee got in the room with that guy to get on a Red Food on his song, and then he also got Tech 9 on a song. Like for an Australian kid out in Bankstown to go and do that at the age of 18 is pretty insane.
Yeah, 100%.
It broke down barriers for the Australian hip hop entrance later on, or even New Zealand, like for Scribe and Savage.
100%.
There was a familiarity, but beyond that, I wanted to ask a few things. At the moment, Splendor just completely went to shit. But more than the festivals, because there's a lot of people answering it. Actually, fuck, I'm going to say this while it's hot on my mind. You mentioned running Trill. You know Danny Grant?
Yeah, I've seen his rants. Danny rants, is it?
Yeah. So he bought a hat last year. I had no clue. And then I seen the hat in the in a video.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, I'll send you one, blah, blah, blah. But, bro, his Melbourne ones are crazy because...
The breakdown, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think you should do something like that.
Break down the story of things?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's a very good storyteller, bro. Like,
he yarns, he adds mayo as well.
Yeah,
but,
I'm not like, if people know me for some reason, like something like this or a panel, I can get the information out, but storytelling and like conversating is not really my biggest thing. But hey, anything's possible. Yeah.
I think the Sydney scene, and also
it's true. We could. The Trill stuff, especially. That's like I said, that's a golden era. That if you knew about it, it was dope. And there's so many stories out of that like we did some stuff there. Like literally, we had Ty Dolla $ign, Metro Boomin, DJ Mustard, Anderson .Paak, Skepta, Ray Shrimmered. Who else we have? There's at least like another 10 or 15 more big artists that we've had come to Oxford Street. True. And it's cool because like Noir now is underneath it. So you go up the stairs of Noir. Across the stairs there will take you to the level above. That's where Trill was. And Noir's pretty much doing like they're not Trill. They're just a club that runs at different nights, but they're the ones that's hosting all these internationals now. So it's like full circle, and that's my boys too. Like Ronnie, like I grew up with him and stuff. So it's dope to see. You know,
Ronnie Cook's manager.
Nah, Ronnie is Ronnie D. We used to call him Ronnie from Maryland's.
Oh yeah.
Cook's manager is Aura. There's Vinny and Johnny.
Yeah. You know about Cooks? I got a little yarn for you.
Yeah.
So that kid, I won't say his name right now, but he pops up on my TikTok in 2020 or 2021. Anyway, it's this kid freestyling in the car driving over the Anzac Bridge. He starts spitting.
Yeah.
I messaged him straight away, like, fuck, what's your name? Are you rapping? Let me send you some Helos stuff. Send him some stuff. The Shelly cooking challenge comes out. Hops on that, kills it. Things kind of go radio silent. And I remember just texting him being like, fuck, bro, like, you probably got it. That's paraphrasing, but I remember telling him, like, you've definitely got it. Like, I've seen it before. And then, I just watching him, bro, from this, like, I'm telling you, when I followed him, like, under 1,000 followers, like, no one knew fucking anything. And then Shelly had popped off because of cooking. Yeah. And then Cahook starts to grow, and then, the Aura boys get a hold of him and drop G Time. And the first time I've got to actually meet Cahooks properly, because I just sent him the stuff and never actually caught up with him, was at the Wanderers event.
Yeah. Oh, and, just recently.
So I'm standing in line and like he's got a belly on, right?
Yeah.
I know what he looks like beyond the belly. And his managers with him. I have no idea if his managers know me. They are Italian, but shout out to him, Forza di Azzurri. And fucking they all his crew walk past, and then he like kind of moves out of the crew and he goes, "Oh, hey bro, like how are you?" And it was the first time seeing him, and I was like, "Oh, we probably should catch up probably one day." But it was so crazy to watch him. That kid, I never forget seeing it, because I stopped everything I was doing at that time to watch it like 5 times. Can this kid spit? There's a few other guys I'll show you on TikTok after that. I think it's similar range. Yeah. And just watching like that come up is just insane. Yeah. Because I've never watched. Like, I watched Dave from a young age. I met Dave on Oxford Street, actually.
Yeah.
But
when he did a show there?
I wasn't 18 by 3 days. He tried to get me on his guest list. He came outside and met me in the park. You know, there's a park halfway down on the left side of Oxford Street.
Where all the bricks are and shit, yeah.
He came out and met me there, and we had a mad yarn.
That's crazy.
And they were asking about the 3 sisters, like, and all that shit, because they found out I was from Blue Mountains.
Yeah.
Bro, his whole crew was there, 169, the Kashi twins.
Yeah.
I just watching like the Cahooks come up, and watching Dave's like the one come up I've kind of watched. Same with Stormzy, as I mentioned earlier. It's like, but like, I wasn't there. I wasn't in the same city. I didn't know the people in and around it. And to watch him just go to like levels, and like I thought due time. To be honest, like at the time, how am I to know any better? I think that's probably he's made it. Yeah. And then just bang, bang, bang. And like, these Aura boys know what they're doing as well.
100%.
Just crazy to watch, but. I don't know how I got there, but I wanted to ask about Australian festivals. So Splendor's a hot topic at the moment. I never thought I'd say the day Splendor actually pulls out, right? Yeah. But I think I was in Europe, but I think 2022 was irreversible damage in terms of like brand image, if you will. But along the theme of Australian festivals, why do so many American artists pull out of Australian festivals, do you think?
I think it depends on the money they're getting, 1, and 2.
But why? So this is my question. A lot of people ask the same thing, and you're probably a man who knows. Yeah. How are they allowed to advertise? Like, so is that money agreed upon at first?
Yeah. It's like, for instance, I'll say like, sometimes artists just do what they want to do.
Yeah, I'll figure that out along the way.
And it's like, let's say like, all right, let's just say you're getting $200,000 per show to do 4 shows in Australia. And it's like, it's cool. And you've locked it in like 9 months before you go there. Yeah. There's a lot of things that happen in 9 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, let's say like it's going to happen in January. October comes around and all of a sudden, like, you're this artist and, like, Drake wants to do this tour or this, he wants you on this tour over here or this or that. And some of those types of opportunities only come up like the month of or the month before and things like that. Not to say that's a reason why, that's just an example of how I could see like an artist being like, well, I can go here and do that. And then sometimes, for instance, they might do a Coachella gig and be getting all of a sudden 500 or 6. I think Coachella doesn't even pay that high anyway. But there could be another festival in America that they're getting like pretty much the same fee to do one show than to come all the way here and do 4 shows. You know what I mean? Like, so it's relative to that. Like, and sometimes artists can be emotional in their decision rather than like, all right, I've agreed and I'm gonna do this. It's more about I want to do this, so I'm gonna do this. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's kind of sometimes. But it could be any reasons, bro. It could be the promoter's fault. It could be the artist's fault. It could be the agent's fault. It could be anything like that. So it's there's no black and white answer. I couldn't tell you because even if I know of people that have pulled out, I didn't even know the reason. You know what I mean? Like I'm not even gonna know the real reason to an extent. You know what I mean? Even no matter how close I might be to some of these US like their teams or whatever, like how am I gonna get the real answer? You know what I mean? Like so yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you 2 more questions. The first one is nowhere near as important, but it's very important to me as a football man.
Yeah.
Being a Ghanaian man, first of all, how much do you hate Luis Suarez's right hand? Oh, the man in front of me is Ghanaian, by the way, for those who don't know. Yeah, he's a biting prick. I'm Italian. He bit Chiellini. It almost fucked us up. And how did you feel when you met Kevin Prince Boateng? Now, for those listening, when it comes to Ghanaian football, Michael Essien is the pinnacle. Abedi Pele is second to, or maybe even more for some.
Yeah, I think the impact that he had was probably larger. It was an earlier era too.
Yeah. And for those who don't know, Jordan and Andre Ayew's dad is actually Abedi Pele. His name's not Pele, he's nicknamed in that. But
and it's literally the same time Pele was around.
Yeah. So. And then probably third, to be honest, in terms of famous Ghana players, comes Kevin Prince Boateng. In my opinion. I could be wrong. There could be someone that's not coming to mind.
Yeah.
When you met him, like, fuck, bro, how'd that happen and how'd you feel? Like, that'd be so cool meeting someone like him over here.
Yeah, I mean, who's your favorite soccer player, though? Out of everyone,
Ever?
Yeah.
Shit. Pirlo, because I get called Fat Pirlo.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, essentially, Kevin Prince is my favorite soccer player out of everyone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he represents who I am, you know what I mean? Like, as a half Ghanaian, half white. Like, he's half German, half Ghanaian, you know what I mean? And I love the pride in, like, if I was ever to make it, like, if I was to do that and make it that far, I would want to play for Ghana. And he did that. And even then, the whole story of his brother played for Germany and he played for Ghana. And they versed each other in the World Cup, which is just crazy. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, and they're literally like, he's a fullback and he's a forward. So they're literally versing each other. It's not like, that's crazy, man. But it just like, yeah.
On a tangent, if Jerome played for Ghana, it's a very different.
Bro, that would be mental, man.
Yeah, probably him. And at the time,
as a solid fullback like that,
no, at the time, bro, on his day, you'd only take Ramos and Chiellini over him. At that time, 2014, Jerome Boateng was a menace. Right. There was a good 2 years there where he was dead set top 3 defender in the world.
The issue always with Ghana was the politics of the internal politics. African you know football. What I mean?
Yeah.
So, and which is even like if you see Kevin Prince's his podcast that he did recently
with Rio.
I can't remember. There's like 3 of them. Yeah, Rio was there and a couple other guys. But he goes into the details of what happened on that World Cup, like, and how he got asked to leave and stuff. And, like, we knew as Ghanaian supporters, we knew something was up too. Like, we knew, like, this isn't right. Like, there was a game that they're on the bench and it's just upsetting because we were so good as a team and we could go so far. And that's like the year before we went to the quarterfinals, right? And then it's like, this year it's like we're coming again, you know, to do what we need to do, you know, and then they don't even give us the best hope by putting our best players on. It's like, what ego do you have as a coach or a manager, or you know what I mean, like to not even just play your best players, you know? So but yeah, basically meeting him is just like, he's my favorite player. So when I found out he's in Sydney or he's just in Australia for the Women's World Cup, I'm like, bro, there is no way that I cannot meet this guy, man. When I went to Frankfurt, we had a show there with Manu Crooks. I was like, like thinking, how can I meet this guy? I have no idea about Frankfurt. We're there for one night, so there's no hope. You know what I mean? I've messaged him. I was like, there's no hope.
Yeah.
But he's in Australia. I'm like, I can definitely meet this guy, bro. You know, I know the spots. I know this and that. So, yeah, it was after the grand final of the World Cup. Yeah. I knew that he'll be around somewhere. So I just went to the city, and I was waiting like around the city at an area that I thought maybe he might come here. And I'm like, yeah, nah, I don't think he's coming here. So I go to drive home, and I'm like, hold on. I can't remember what it was, but I think earlier he was in the harbour. I'm like, there's actually a hotel down there. Let me just go down there and drive past and just see what's happening. For some reason, I was thinking that. So I just drive past, and it's just all these FIFA cars. And I'm like, yo, what is happening here, bro? So that was like pretty much I think it was like a FIFA after party, but it's also where a lot of the people were staying as well. But it was like a FIFA after party.
Shit, did you get in?
Nah. So basically, this is what happened. So I parked my car.
You probably say some shit.
I park my car. I walk around I'm like, all right, let me just walk around to see what I see. So I walk around, and then as I go around, I realize there's a bar there, and it looks like there's an event going on. This must be the official after party. So I'm thinking, all right, I'll just keep walking around. As I keep walking around, he's just sitting there having a D&M with Tim Cahill's son. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm just like, bro.
Yeah.
There he is. I'm like, sorry to interrupt you, man. You know, your royalty, man. Like, said, what's up? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, he's like, don't worry, I'll be back. So, yeah. And funnily enough, he came back, but I think he went back to Germany again. But yeah, I think he wants to stay out here or something. I don't know the story, but I think he loves Australia. Yeah.
Got 100K on TikTok.
On the, you did a video, a public video?
No,
and I got 100K?
I'll show you after. I did like I messaged him on Instagram with like, dear Kevin, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then I just put it on like a slideshow.
Yeah.
And it got like 100 something.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You uploaded it and it went, that's crazy.
And people were just like, well, the fuck's this kid from fucking Blacks and Redbacks reaching out to Kevin Prince Boateng?
That's hilarious.
Bro, I fuck with him heavy.
But that's why I was like, can you play for the fucking A-League? I don't know, bro. Like, you could just chill and play and actually have an impact. I feel.
Because at Fiorentina, when he was at Fiorentina, he played midfield and then he'd play up front.
Yeah.
Such a versatile footballer. We had him and Ribery at the same time with the young Vlahovic and Chiesa, and bro, so fond of him. He was he didn't play as much as I wanted at the time, but bro, such a footballer.
Yeah,
right?
he went to so many clubs. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane. I think it's like 15 almost.
Yeah,
and like Dortmund, Tottenham, Barca.
His best era, I think, was Inter Milan, maybe.
AC Milan.
So yeah, like that.
Or Portsmouth.
With Ibrahimovic and that.
Yeah. Bro, when he was at Portsmouth as well, he's a fucking menace. Now, last thing I wanted to ask you, you're a father and a partner. Bro, how, for me, I'm not, right? So, but I am building businesses and different things all at once. How do you manage your time to be across so many different ventures whilst raising a family? This was also sent in by B-Wise as well.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a dedication to I don't work for anybody. It's like I wake up, and when I'm working, it's like I'm working on my own schedule. So it's also about how much am I dedicated to actually getting shit done. You know what I mean? Because even if you work for someone, the fact of you got tasks to do is how much do you actually want to do it, you know? Yeah. Same as if you work for yourself, how much do you really want to do what you want to do? And I think that's where it starts, is just the passion for what I believe in, whether that's pushing a music artist, whether that's doing new cultural stuff like collaborations with our marketing company and bringing businesses together. And like for instance, we did Wanderers G'd Up, for instance. We help facilitate that. We help helping Sydney Kings with street ball stuff and their TSE marketing company on top of that. Things like these are things that we're passionate about, bringing G'd Up with Western Sydney. It makes sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's even something that we want to do, so we're working towards that. Booking, we do bookings for Liverpool Council right now. They have an African fest or an Asian fest, or they have all these different nationality fests, and there's a passion in making sure that there's young artists that represent those cultures that are on those lineups, you know what I mean? And that's the knowledge that we can give to them, So it's like, it's also about we doing work that we believe in and that's good, and like the people around me as well. It's not just me as well, you know what I mean? There's others around me too, and I think that's even the next era, is building that team and building that stronger than ever. But you know, with everything we do, there's always people that I have involved. Like I never do something on my own. I always bring people with me, and that's people that bring their certain skills, or people that I want to learn from what I'm doing, or people that can just add to, you know what I mean? So I think that's always the key, you know, it's about partnerships and teamwork and, you know, building together, not just doing things yourself, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, 100. Thanks for hopping on, brother.
No worries, man.
What a session. We're officially wrapping up at 12:30 a.m. in Penrith on a fucking flood night. Appreciate you coming all the way here.
Now we're going to go to the studio.
Yeah. Oh, really?
You trying to come? Where do you live?
Wimberley, brother.